Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of light and secret knowledge wherever you may be, you are listening to Points of Light Radio, the podcast dedicated to taking you past the apron and behind the closed doors of lodges everywhere. And here is your host, Stan Miller.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. It's a pleasure being back here with you on Points of Light Radio and continuing our journey of light and knowledge towards light and knowledge. And in today's segment of Points of Light Radio, we're going to be revisiting the Loyal Orange Lodge. Now, we've covered not just the lodge here on a number of occasions, but we've also covered the different loyal orders that are out there, right? And as I always say, I encourage you to go back and have a look at some of those segments because it will tie in quite well here with what you're about to see on Points of Light Radio. Now, just to encapsulate, the Loyal Orange Lodge, or the Orange Order, is a sectarian organization that was founded in Lual, County Armagh, Northern Ireland, in the year 1795. To join, one must be Protestant and a believer in the supremacy of Jesus Christ. The order is headquartered in Belfast, Northern Ireland. And as I've always said, next to the Freemasons and the Oddfellows, the Orange Lodge is probably one of the more storied organizations in existence. Here in Canada, our first Prime Minister was an Orangeman, as well as Prime Ministers Mackenzie Bowell and John Diefenbaker. My guest on this particular segment of Points of Light Radio is Sean Allen. Mr. Allen is a member of Loyal Orange Lodge 2311 in Winnipeg. He's also the County Master of County Orange Lodge of Manitoba. He's the Worshipful Master of Keys Lodge 1755. He's the Recording Secretary of the Golden West Loyal Orange Lodge 2311. He's also the Marshal of Newdale Loyal Orange Lodge 1533, and he's the immediate past master of the Grand Orange Lodge of Western Canada. Right? Now, I had a lengthy conversation with him late last week. He's very committed to the Loyal Orange Lodge, as you'll see. Very passionate about it as well. I can't wait, actually, to talk to Mr. Allen. So let's go fellowship with Mr. Allen. But as I always ask you, are you still searching for the light? Are you still thirsty for knowledge? Then just trim your lamp and follow me. Hi there, welcome to Points of Light Radio.
Hello, brother.
Hi there, welcome to Points of Light Radio. So I understand you are a member of the Loyal Orange Lodge 2311 in Winnipeg, as well as some other lodges. Tell us our listeners and viewers about yourself.
Well, my full title, if you would be Most Worshipful Brother, Private Sean Christopher Allen. I'm the Master of Keys LOL 1755 in Keys, Manitoba. I'm the Recording Secretary for Golden West LOL 2311 here in Winnipeg. I'm the Marshal for Newdale LOL 1533. I'm the County Master for the County of Manitoba. I'm the immediate past Grand Master, Grand Orange Lodge of Western Canada. And up until very recently, I was the Most Worshipful Grand Secretary, Grand Orange Lodge of Canada. Regrettably, I had to step down from that position due to some healthcare concerns. But all that being said, I'm doing quite well. And I'm pretty sure there's a few other hats amongst there as well that I wear.
So what's your primary lodge, shall we say?
2311.
And tell us a little bit about 2311.
2311 has been around for 111 years. It was founded a few months before the sinking of the Titanic in 1912. Around February, March is when they had their first meeting and they got their warrant.
Okay. Now, we had a phone conversation a while back, and I wanted to speak to you today about some of the exciting news and events that you talked about, about the growing lodge presence, shall we say, in Manitoba.
Oh, for sure. We probably haven't seen growth like this since 1960s, where we've seen a positive increase in membership. We have currently right now about 5 new members for the Winnipeg Lodge, and we have about a dozen or so new members primed for the Newdale Lodge. And all that comes basically is from one individual having a conversation with another individual. If you don't have the wherewithal to go and talk to people, you will never get new members. So I'm very excited that the newest members that we have for Winnipeg are all relatively young members too. They are younger than I was when I joined the order in 2010. I was 26 years old when I became an Orangeman. The newest member that we signed up for Winnipeg just a couple weeks ago, we were celebrating the July 12th celebrations in Newdale. The newest member we signed up is going to be 23. And the gentleman that helped sign him up, he joined the Orange when he was 16. So we're trending in the right direction. That being said, it doesn't matter how old or how young you are. If you have a heart and you want to be a part of the Orange, we will welcome you with open arms.
Now, there again, you're planting lodges all over Manitoba by the sounds of things.
Step by step. I do not think that it's wise to just willy-nilly open up a lodge everywhere if you have just a handful of guys. You want to make sure that you have enough people in a location that your lodge is going to be self-sustaining. I know in the past we've, and still in some cases for many lodges, you have members that are members of multiple lodges. I myself am guilty of that. I'm a member of all 3 primary lodges in Manitoba, but we have a wide range of membership. It's not the same 3 or 4 guys that belong to Winnipeg that also belong to Keys, that also belong to Newdale. There is some overlap, but it's not, the entirety of the lodges aren't the same core group of people. But once we know that there's enough people in a certain area and they have a desire for a lodge, we will work with them to get a lodge in their area, or at the very least direct them to the nearest lodge to them so that they can become more acquainted with what the Orange is and what we stand for.
So where do you plan to build a lodge next, shall we say?
There's a few ideas where we would like to see a lodge go up. Historically speaking, southwestern Manitoba has been the most fertile ground for the Orange, going way back to Confederation. All the small little towns on the map had a lodge at one point, and we've had some interest from individuals about having a lodge again, whether it's in the very far southern corner, Souris, Manitoba, Melita, Manitoba, Brandon, Verdon, Kirkella. We've even had some guys that are still in Dauphin that are members of the Winnipeg Lodge. But if we had a few more members or people that were interested up in Dauphin, feasibly, we could reopen a lodge there as well. So southwestern Manitoba is our focus point. But if there's interest from anywhere else, that's definitely something that myself and other people here in Manitoba would love to go and help out, start up or revive a lodge.
So what do you feel that the Orange Lodge has to do to move forward here in Canada?
We have to have more of a presence in our community. We need to have more of a presence online. I think that simply having one website for Grand Lodge of Canada without being linked to any type of provincial websites or county websites or primary lodge websites is a disservice. No, I'm not saying that these websites have to be perfect. They don't have to be a standalone website, even if it was a Facebook page or something linked up to social media, whether it was an Instagram or another medium. As long as those lodges have a presence, that's how you're going to get people interested. The reason why Manitoba has 3 lodges right now is because of Facebook.
Yeah.
Now, several years ago, I took it upon myself to start a Facebook page for 2311. And it's the most simple thing. It's just a phone number, address, some pictures. To be honest, I'm not the most tech savvy person, so I don't update it as often as I should. I'm guilty of that. But I do keep in contact with people when I have a message or someone wants to share a video with me or photographs. People will tell me that they have relics or regalia from relatives that have long passed, and they're looking to return it to the Orange. They get in touch with me. And that's how I was able to get in touch with an individual up in the Newdale area, Newdale Sandy Lake area, a gentleman by the name of Daryl Barr. And he called me asking about the Orange Lodge and if there's any lodges up in his part of Manitoba that were left. His mother, grandmother had been involved with the Ladies' Orange in Carberry. He has relatives and cousins back in Northern Ireland that are members of the Orange Association, members of the Apprentice Boys of Derry. And we had a great conversation, a few hours of an initial conversation. And he ended up joining the Winnipeg Lodge. Shortly after that, he was able to get interest from a lot of his friends and members in the community. And I told him, I said, hey, at one point, Newdale had a lodge. Maybe if you'd like, we can revive it. And that's where we were able to get a warrant for the revived LOL 1533 in Newdale, Manitoba. They have a building that they meet in. They've done it up really, really nice. It's a beautiful structure. They have a hall area for Orange meetings. They have a special room set up for Apprentice Boys meetings. They have a lot of old photographs and some relics, a little library that has Orange materials. All this happened because of one phone call. So just think, if you multiply that by the 20 or so members that they have, and each one of those guys are able to reach out to one more person, you can calculate that the growth will just be exponential coming from that.
Well, what drew you to the Loyal Orange Lodge?
At first, it was more of a cultural thing for me. I didn't really... I'm a monarchist at heart. I always have been. Now, I grew up Roman Catholic, believe it or not. The Orange is a Protestant organization. My grandparents on my father's side, that was the Protestant side. On my mother's side, that was the Roman Catholic side. But I always had a love for the monarchy. I always loved Queen Elizabeth II, George VI, history. So then when I got older, I became a Protestant. One of the first things that I did shortly thereafter was look to see if there was an Orange Lodge around. I really wanted to find a place to put down my cultural roots, keep something alive that was familiar to members of my family, that is familiar with my faith, something that I can do more with my faith than I can do in one church alone. And I find part of the problem that we have today is, just like our fraternal organizations, a lot of our churches, we have the best of intentions, but sometimes our objectives fall a little bit short. If I can do a lot of good with 6 people from just my church, as an example, why wouldn't I want to try to bring together, I don't know, guys from 10, 15, 20 churches together and establish a common goal for something in the community, whether it's helping out for Ronald McDonald House or cancer research in Manitoba, whatever the case is. What we do in the Orange is to help out our communities, and that was a big thing that appealed to me. Strong monarchist, strong Protestant, community-focused. I get to hang out with some like-minded individuals. We get to have these wonderful celebrations on July 12th. We get to celebrate Robbie Burns Night with an ode to the haggis. It's something that I really enjoy, and that was something that appealed to me. Now, at the time, I was interviewed by 2 gentlemen. One was in his mid-80s at the time. The other one was in his mid-70s. And when I joined, everyone was ecstatic because I was the youngest person to join the lodge in 30 years. And now I get to proudly say that some of the newer members that we have are younger than I am. And that keeps trending in the right direction. We're getting younger members, people that want to have that sense of community, that want to explore their faith, that want to explore their culture, that want to express it in a positive way. And it's just a great thing to be a part of.
Well, Mr. Allen, I appreciate your time tonight, and I want to commend you and the brethren for your efforts with the lodge, and all the best to you and the Manitoba Orange.
Well, thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that.
Have yourself a good night. There you have it, brothers and sisters. Sean Allen. I love how he described what the Loyal Orange Lodge has done for him, the way he described it, and as well as what it could do for others thinking of joining. I think what we've also seen here is that we have an organization that many are unaware of, but what's become apparent is the Loyal Orange Lodge is here in Canada, and it is growing. It has that potential to grow. And it's wonderful to see that the Loyal Orange Lodge in Manitoba is not only attracting new members, but also younger members as well, right? I love his ideas on how to keep the lodge alive and vibrant and visible within the community. And as I keep saying, we'll keep coming back to this organization, but I'm afraid we'll have to part for now. Before I go, I want to remind you that this podcast is available on both YouTube and Spreaker. Please share, like, and subscribe when viewing Points of Light Radio on YouTube. You can follow Points of Light Radio on my Facebook page at facebook.com/Points of Light Radio. You can see the link to my Twitter handle, my Spotify channel, as well as my Points of Light Radio store. You can also see the link to the Loyal Orange Lodge 2311 in the details section of this podcast as well. But brothers and sisters, until we meet again, just step into the light.